The Cell Activator, yes, which I'm going to talk about today. I'll be sharing not only my own results, but also the results of my team. And now, just a little bit here, most likely, there are quite a few newcomers who perhaps haven't even heard about it. First of all, I want to say straight away, we, as I always say, are not doctors. Yes, we don't treat anyone. What we offer is specifically a restorative procedure. It's about restoring the body itself, yes, so that it works on its own. And this very cell activator is a miracle device for the whole family. It's clearly stated here that this is a cosmetic device, not a medical one. You simply plug it into a socket and use it. I always say, you can even use it on a train, in the office, or at work. It weighs only 300 grams. 300 grams. That's it. You just unclip it here and pop it into your handbag. It's very light, small, convenient, and compact. And you don't need to undress when using it. Yes. When you switch on our activator, warm air comes out and terahertz waves are emitted. It's specifically wave therapy, which, when directed at the body, just like you use a hairdryer to dry your hair, you'll be warming up your body in the same way. And these terahertz waves penetrate 12 to 15 centimeters deep into the body and restore the entire cellular structure. When I first saw it, to be honest, when I saw that it produced heat, I was afraid. I had such a problem. I had growths in my left breast. I was under the care of an oncologist, and I had already been diagnosed with BIRADS 3. This is a borderline condition between malignant and benign. Yes, so it's a tumor. And of course, I became very frightened. The oncologist prescribed me a load of different medicines, and naturally, out of fear, I rushed out, bought them all, and started taking them. I developed diarrhea. And I had, well, actually, I didn't have an activator, did I? And then, as it happened, my mum came to stay with me for 4 days, and at that time, of course, I didn't tell her about my problem, with my breast. I simply took her activator and started using it. So, in order to treat the breast, specifically the growth, you need to warm up the body, then warm up the shoulder blades, then under the armpit where the lymph nodes are, and then the breast itself. And of course, we also finish off on the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. I only did it for 4 days. After all, my mum was only with me for 4 days, so in those 4 days, I managed to do 4 sessions, each lasting 20 minutes. By the way, I forgot to mention that on the second day, I couldn't even sleep on my left side. I just couldn't lie on my left side at all. I had severe pain in my chest. After 2 sessions, I woke up at night lying on my left side and thought to myself, so I felt my left breast, and honestly, there was almost no pain left. I'm only going for an ultrasound in a month and a half. The ultrasound specialist asked me to confirm my patronymic and my date of birth again, because she couldn't believe her eyes. She said, "Are you sure this is your result?" In the first ultrasound, I had a report like this, and it was written clearly, in the left upper quadrant, such and such size, here such and such size, this and that. And there were several of these growths listed, with a whole text like that. And then, when I went for the second time after using the activator, yes, I had just one line, not detected, that's all. After that, I literally flew out of there, so happy. The first time, I left in tears, but this time, I came out absolutely over the moon. I immediately called Balgira, my mum, everyone. In 6 months, I'm going to see a mammologist for a mammogram just for myself, to check, well, just in case. Well, you never know, maybe it was just a coincidence, maybe something else. After all, we're all human, aren't we? There are always some doubts. And that's it. I go again to the for a mammogram, right? And that's it. I really have nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. I was just so happy. I told everyone about it. They even call me, at first they called me the Queen of the Activator, and now they call me the Activator Lady. Because I talk about it to everyone in my review. I show everyone. I belong to the clinic of the presidential administration. We have a clinic, maybe some of you know it, yes? And we have an app on our phones where all our test results are stored. To anyone who's interested, I open this database and show them the ultrasound before, the ultrasound after, all of that. I can show all these test results to anyone. So, in fact, apart from the activator, I didn't use anything else at all. Just imagine how amazing that is. It's like having a doctor at home. And then I started seeing such results in my team. For example, when a woman had Parkinson's disease. You all probably know what Parkinson's disease is, don't you? I personally always thought that with this illness, there's just no way, you simply can't help someone if they have it. But when her daughter, this woman is 72 years old, got hold of this cell activator and started using it on her, it turns out that this woman had Parkinson's for 5 years, and every time it just kept getting worse and worse. She had such severe swelling that she simply couldn't even sit down. It was as if her knees were about to burst. That's how bad the swelling was. She had stool disturbance, urination disturbance. Her daughter got her our insoles, and that was it. Now she started in 2 months. It turns out that she will do 25 procedures. She started doing Nordic walking. Her speech has fully recovered. She goes shopping on her own now. The tremor remained only in her right hand. Just a little bit. Imagine how much you can improve your health in just 2 months with this device. I think that's just an absolutely fantastic result. And do you know what the best bonus she got was? Black hair started growing on her grey head, even though her hair was completely white before black hair grew back. There's a woman whose son has cerebral palsy. Of course, we started with the insoles first. When she put her son on these insoles, he was absolutely stunned. He said, "Mum, I used to fall over before. What if I try running? What if I try squatting?" And he started trying all of this. He also used to have epileptic seizures. Every evening, every night, he would start having seizures. And in our contraindications for the activator, it actually says that it's not recommended for epilepsy. But this woman, the mother of this son, because she saw how the insoles started working instantly, how happy her son became just by putting them on, he simply stood there and stood. And his eyes were like that. We also have these videos. You can see just how happy he was, simply by stepping onto the insoles and starting to walk. And when she saw this result, she took this activator, despite the risks, and began to work it along the meridians. And you know, she simply freed her child from epilepsy, from epileptic seizures. It's absolutely amazing. She said at that time it had been about a year since it happened. When I saw her again, I asked her, "How's your son?" And she said, "Can you imagine? Touch wood, everyone's already telling me not to post anything on Instagram, just in case someone jinxes it or something like that. We have that thing, don't we? People can jinx you." So she didn't say anything. And she told me that after the insoles, first of all, the child stopped wearing nappies, because up until the age of 11, the child was still in nappies. As soon as he started wearing the insoles, he began going to the toilet on his own, keeping his balance and all that. And everything got better. Then she said that by that point, she had been using the activator for almost a year. She said that during that year, there hadn't been a single epileptic seizure. Can you imagine how amazing that is? Actually, I asked Mr. Liuting about children. Why does it say that it's not allowed for children? It actually works brilliantly for children. He said it's just that no studies have been done specifically with our activator on children, so that's why it's written that way. But you can try it gradually. So, in theory, it can be tried by anyone on anyone. And from what I've read in various articles online, Western countries are already looking to introduce these terahertz waves specifically for the treatment of cancer. Here, we work along the meridians. In theory, it's all very simple and straightforward. If you understand it, you could actually get rid of all diseases that exist. And these are the kinds of diseases, I'll even list them for you. These include psoriasis, eczema, vitiligo, papillomas, warts, pigmentation spots, surgical scars, and burn scars. All types of suppuration caused by diabetes, and all types of lichen that exist. All sorts of different types of eczema, right? Sinusitis, sinus infections, otitis, cataracts, glaucoma, any kind of illness. My tooth even hurts. Please, activator. My neck hurts. The thyroid gland is inflamed. Please give me an activator. Any growths, lipomas on the body or inside the body, it doesn't matter. Cysts, ovarian cysts, uterine fibroids, prostatitis in men. For example, have you started having diarrhea? Please, activator. Constipation, activator. Cystitis, activator. Hemorrhoids, activator. That's all, yes? Any joint diseases, these are things like arthritis, arthrosis, polyarthritis, when even your fingers become crooked and painful. Polyarthritis, osteochondrosis, for example, or a hump, yes? Everything hurts. My back hurts. My lower back hurts. I don't know. Protrusions, yes? Spinal hernia. That's it. For all of these, use the cell activator. Absolutely for everything. Just use it according to these guidelines. Ideally, do what you want. If you want a quick effect, do everything along the meridians. Next, we have some fantastic results with young children. A newborn baby is born and has jaundice. And you all know what the mother does. She either buys or rents this lamp, puts the baby under it, and every day lays the child there for 8 hours. What do? Our Vieta partners. We take the cell activator, blow on the baby for 1.5 minutes. 3 days in total, 4.5 minutes altogether. There you go, the bilirubin is sorted. It's really cool. And it saves time, doesn't it? And the child recovers quickly, without suffering for so many days. And sometimes, even after 10 days under that lamp, the child still doesn't recover. Bilirubin. Now that we have this device, I think that's it. The old way is history. It's a lamp that just hangs like this. So, with our device, you can use it from newborns. Yes, up to, well, you can use it indefinitely. Right, papillomas, yes? If you have loads of papillomas, just work on the meridians, all right? And everything here will clear up. Or, if you're treating something else, if you have papillomas and some other condition, you don't need to get distracted by the papillomas. Just treat everything else. And the papillomas will fall off on their own as well. That's how it is. You know, I've also got another great result from my friend. We've been friends for more than 23 years. We've been together practically since university, haven't we? And her son is a first-year student, living in a dormitory. And there's this communal shower. And well, he's quite squeamish. He went to the shower just once. And then suddenly, on one foot, and only on one for some reason, a whole bunch of warts appeared. When he came home to Semsk, he was limping, and some of these warts would burst, rubbing against his shoes, right down to the blood. She counted 53 of them. Just imagine, 53 warts right on the sole of his foot, all on one foot, nothing at all on the other. So, in a panic, she rushes to the surgeon. What should she do? He says, "We'll burn them all off with a laser, but your son will have to stay at home with a bandage for 2 months. He can't walk, and he can't wear shoes. But he's a student, how can he lie around for 2 months, right? And the doctor also says he'll need to come in for dressing changes every 2 or 3 days. So, you can picture the whole situation, can't you?" She says, "Of course not. How could we? Let's leave it for the summer holidays if we have to. It's winter now, and he's only got 8 days off." What does she do? She spends all 8 days using our activator. She doesn't do anything else, just blows on his leg with it, blows and blows, for about 15 minutes every day. And that's how all 8 days went by. Well, after 8 days, nothing had changed. Everything was just as it was before. She even says, "I started to think, maybe the activator doesn't actually work." Well, I mean, just imagine, she's doing it, but nothing is happening. Now, of course, her son goes back to his studies. There's nothing else for it. He has to study. He goes off to study, a couple of weeks pass, and he sends a photo. "Mum, look, my leg is clear." And she says, "I was such a fool. I even asked him, 'Are you sure that's your leg?' Can you imagine?" She asks her son. He says, "Well, Mum, of course it's mine. It's not the neighbor's, is it?" What kind of question is that? So just imagine, it was to that extent. So, what happened? The internal cells recovered, right? But these were already grown, these warts, weren't they? With their own roots. Just imagine, while these new cells were working there, some time passed, and all of this simply fell off on its own, like skin, and underneath was a clean leg. That's all there is to it. So, there's no need to despair if you've tried something 2 or 3 times and haven't seen any results. In reality, that's not the case. In fact, the activator works on everything, absolutely all organs. It works brilliantly. And as I say, there are simply millions of confirmations. We have fantastic photos, results, especially with skin conditions. There are loads, from diabetes, when the flesh was literally rotting, legs in an absolutely dreadful state, such terrible sores, with the flesh exposed and all that on the outside. And with our activator, all of that heals, it all gets better. And if you also add soy peptide, then you'll get absolutely excellent results for any open wounds. If it's a moist wound, yes, just sprinkle soy peptide on it and take it internally, that's all. And, as they say, you'll have your health. And if we also add our activator, it will happen 3 times faster. So, these are really impressive results. I'm talking specifically about my own team right now, about people I personally know and whose experiences I've seen with my own eyes. And that's not even mentioning those in our wider teams, where I've only seen photos and so on. I've only spoken about the people I personally interact with and have known for years, and these are their results. And here's another great result. You know how people sometimes say you can't really see the difference, right? Like, you treat your liver and it's not clear whether it's healed or not. I'll give an example about my own sister. My sister, she's 52 now, was diagnosed with Gilbert syndrome, if I'm not mistaken. She was given this diagnosis in 2015, and it's considered genetic. If you look it up online, Gilbert syndrome, you'll see that it's inherited genetically. Now it's 2024, so it's already been 9 years, hasn't it? So, what does she do? I told her, get an activator and work with it. And to treat the liver, I said, first start with the ear, around the ear, and only then move on to the liver. Do this for 5 days, I told her. That's exactly what she did. And on top of that, she wanted to balance her hormones. She got herself an antibacterial gel, just 2 packs, and she also got soy peptide. She started taking it. Well, she managed to drink about 5 sachets, I think, and in addition, she received a tea as a gift with her order. There was a promotion for some products at the time. She got this Luwei tea as a gift, and she drank the Luwei tea. About 3 weeks passed, I think, and then she went, well, she also works in the ministry and is also part of the UDP. So, she went for a medical checkup, as we call it, a checkup that civil servants have every year. She goes for this checkup, gets examined, and what do you think happened? She says, can you imagine, they've removed the diagnosis of Gilbert syndrome that I supposedly had, inherited from somewhere. Can you imagine? I'm just so shocked. I said, how? She says, can you imagine? I'm shocked myself, because I really didn't expect it. I thought for 9 years that I had some sort of genetic issue, but it turns out I don't. It was just 5 days of using the activator, that's all. And the funniest thing is, all her hormones are fine, all her test results are great. The only test that was off was her vitamin D, which was low, but everything else was normal. She's absolutely stunned. She used to have an inflamed thyroid and a whole host of other issues. And just imagine, she started using the peptide, the tea, and the gel. I said straight away, the gel balances all the hormones, and the thyroid too. Our thyroid is all about hormones and the entire hormonal background. So please, use the gel, and you'll see the results, as they say. All your hormones will thank you. They'll settle down. Just imagine what a miraculous device this is. You can throw out your whole medicine cabinet, just buy one activator and that's it. And the price of this activator definitely doesn't reflect its true value. Its value is many times, even thousands of times greater. If you can get rid of such serious illnesses, right? Then these $500 are really nothing at all.